So we pushed on into St. Louis. As I peered outside the bus, seeing once again the landscape. America is a beautiful country. We are blessed by God. We were arriving in St. Louis, but we stopped by the truck stop where I got myself snacks and the Arizona iced tea. As a hobo's financial budget is always like that. But we thank God, as St. Paul says, we are hungry, but we are not starved. We are never defeated. As I stared outside the bus, I'm saying stirred like they say in St. Louis. As I stirred outside the bus, I quickly realized we were within the limits of St. Louis, where there is the arc, the gateway to the west. And there is the St. Louis, the King of France church. Classical, rococo, beautiful. We were within St. Louis. We were within St. Louis, striking distance. Things changed from the open fields to the urban scape, from the wide open skies to the concrete mortar, steel, iron. We were arriving in St. Louis. Once again, I said my prayers, praying to God for mercy, saying, God, I know not where I go, but thou art my strength, and thou art will make a way. And I prayed the Hail Mary. And as I arrived at the bus station, I looked at the downtown St. Louis with its corpuscape. Usually getting off the bus is usually a great thing. You get to relax. I pray the rosary whenever I arrive into a city, asking God to subdue all evil. As I began my quest, I began to walk. I met a couple of thugs along the way. I arrived at St. John the Evangelist Church, and it was almost night. I admired the beauty and prayed to the blessed Lord, the blessed sacrament, the living host, Jesus looking like bread, the Holy Eucharist, the source and the pinnacle of every life. Go to confession and receive Jesus in a state of grace without any mortal sin. Because receiving the Holy Eucharist in a mortal sin makes you sick. It might lead to early death. Ever wonder why there's so many people sick in church? Because they are receiving the Lord in a state of damnation. Ask God for the grace to receive. It was night. I walked around and fell asleep. It was Sunday. I woke up early the Sunday morning and I walked to the church. I admired the beauty of the church. Well, it's just me. I'm kind of nerdy in these architectural things. They move me. I went in and received Jesus, asking Jesus to forgive me for my sins and my wrongs. And it was off to St. Louis, a city of crime and violence, as I began my walk. A lot of homeless people abandoned. A lot of homeless people are living on the sidewalks. It's the decay of America, the closing of industries. Things seem to be going astray. There are a lot of poor folks around here, sitting in the parks day in and day out, slipping on the sidewalks in churches, on stipples, slipping on church sides, on the side of the road, in alleyways, walking around drunk and inundated, some forgotten with drug addiction. Some have mental, spiritual issues that need an exorcism. But the church in all this does nothing. They rather focus on climate change. That's the only thing they can talk about. They steer clear from God's people. Judgment is on his way. I walked around St. Louis that day. It was Sunday, a day where I feast. I was going to get some fried chicken and ice cream. What a beautiful day indeed. God had provided a little bit. And at nighttime appeared. I set out to find a place to sleep. Waking up early the next morning in St. Louis, Missouri, thinking of going to take a shower in the Mississippi. I thought to myself, wow. Then I went to church, St. Louis, King of France Church. I went there to receive the Holy Eucharist, saying, Lord, I'm not worthy to receive you, but only say the words and I can be healed.